Hey, it's Flannel Penguin, and today's video is going to be a book talk on The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider, if I pronounced that correctly. Main character, Ezra, then we have Toby and Cassidy, and then of course we've got our other supporting characters and things like that, but the book mostly revolves around those three characters. To begin with, the opening of the book is Ezra talking about how everyone has their own personal tragedy and how everyone has one in their life and how it changes them in some sort of way, and it can be good or it can be bad, just that kind of stuff, blah blah blah. Then a little bit after that, we have Ezra talking about how Toby has his own tragedy when they were a lot younger. Will not spoil because it's not funny, but it kind of is funny, and I just think it's something that everyone should personally read for themselves without it being spoiled. Fast forward a little bit, and Ezra kind of talks about how maybe he's not going to have his. But then, bum bum bum, warning, minor spoiler, he goes to a party that he really didn't even want to go to, but his girlfriend's there, so he goes to see her. Well, he goes looking for her, goes up to the house, opens one of the bedroom doors, lo and behold, finds his girlfriend cheating on him with you know, another human being. No, then it doesn't just stop there. On the way out of the party, he's trying to leave as fast as he can. Well, he gets to his car, and then as he's driving away, another car comes by and hits him. So, gets in a car wreck. So, he's been cheated on by his girlfriend, and he gets in a car wreck. That's a really good way to start out the book. That sounded kind of sarcastic, but I truly meant, like, that's a really good way to start out the book. It kind of, like, gets you in there, like, real good and deep, and it makes you want to keep reading. And at least it did for me, because I'm just like, oh, what else can go wrong? Fast forward a little bit more into the book. It's senior year. All these big things are happening. Ezra comes back to school. He didn't get to finish his junior year, so he still feels kind of, like, isolated. He feels like everyone is looking at him. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, isn't that the kid that was cheated on and got in the car wreck? Look at him. He's like got a cane and he looks awful. He gets his classes, he goes into Spanish, and then in walks the new girl, Cassidy. And right off the bat, she's kind of weird, just like odd. What is she doing here? She's not going to fit in. And that is kind of how our story takes away. He's finding this girl kind of intriguing. He's like, she's not so bad. What, like, she's different. It's kind of cool. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of like the same old story, like, everyone's the same and she's different. I fall in love with a different person. Well, not me, Ezra, but, like, at the same time, it's not like the same old thing. Like, this book kind of, like, twists it a little bit, which I think is good. So it's not, like, boring or anything. I really don't know, like, what else to say about what happens in this book, because I don't want to, like, spoil anything, but I guess it's kind of obvious, so I'm not gonna say it anyway. Minor spoiler. Cass and Ezra do end up together, and everything's all lovey and things like that. Things seem to be going perfect until homecoming night, and then something drastic happens, and Cassidy does not want to have anything to do with Ezra, and there's this big mess that happens. And if you want to know anything else, you should read the book, because I don't want to be rude and spoil too much for you guys, so you should read it. Things I absolutely adore about this book that should make any of you guys really want to go read it is, if you're a pun person, there's not that many puns in it, but it's still riddled with puns, so I got some chuckles out of it. Another thing that is one of my favorite things, and this is a line that Cassidy says, so I'm gonna, like, read it, but, so I guess in a way this is a slight spoiler. I don't know, but it's like a quote from the book I'm going to read, because I feel the exact same way, but I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It is page 68, and you guys, a little insight so you know what's happening. Ezra and Cassidy stayed late after school, and Cassidy rode her bike to school, and Ezra was like, oh, we don't need to ride home in the dark on the bike, so let me give you a ride home. So we get to Cassidy's subdivision, and it says, this is Ezra speaking. How do I get to your house? I asked. Do you ever just not want to go home? Her face was as pale as the lamplight, and I could see it in her eyes that she was serious. I can relate to this on so many levels, because honestly, it doesn't matter if I'm out driving by myself, or especially if I'm, like, with my good friends. It doesn't matter how long I spend with them, I could spend a week with them and still not get tired of them, and I don't want to go home. Or like I said, even if I'm by myself out driving, there's something that I just don't want to go home. And that sounds kind of harsh and that might sound kind of bad, but it's just sometimes I feel trapped a lot, and just that spoke to me because I feel the exact same way as Cassidy. And I actually said that to one of my friends back in January, I think. I hadn't seen him for like a good couple of months, so we were like catching up, went and got dinner, and I was really upset because I hadn't seen him in so long, so we were like still talking a lot. And I remember saying, I just don't want to go home, like, and it wasn't late, it was only 8 o'clock, and I had to go to work the next morning, and I was like, ugh, I don't want to feel like I have to go anywhere or be anywhere, and I just don't want to go home. And he looked at me, and we were just like, okay. So we literally just drove around for like hours, and I'm so thankful for that time, because I don't know, it sounds so like a cliche thing that would have happened in a movie, but it was just really nice and peaceful to be with a friend and to be driving around for no reason, just driving around to do it, and it felt so nice. And I encourage anybody to do that, by the way. Random thing, but I encourage any of you to do that, whether it's with one of your close friends or a lot of friends, or even if it's just by yourself. Driving around at night, as long as you're safe, of course, is so therapeutic, and yeah, it's just really nice. And the last thing that I love about this book, which by the way, kind of big spoiler, but not huge spoiler, but spoiler, when I talked about earlier when Cass and Ezra got into this huge fight and Cass didn't want to see Ezra anymore and all that stuff, they broke up. Well, near the end of the book, you think, oh, maybe they're gonna get back together. They don't, and that's kind of sad, but what I love about this is, like, it's not a perfect ending to a perfect book, because if you take it in the sense of life, in real life, perfect things do not constantly happen throughout. There's always going to be something, like, tragic happening, and in this case, it was a relationship not getting back together. I can also relate to that because, actually, it wasn't even with really a relationship-y kind of thing that I've been going through, but I've been going through it while I was reading that, and that kind of helped me out a little bit, because it makes you think that you can have something good for a little while, but not everything's gonna last. And I don't know how to explain it. Like, I talked about this a little bit in one of my other videos, but it kind of just shows that some people are only in your life for a certain amount of time, but when they are, it's usually like there to help you grow, or they help you change in some kind of way that's going to make you a better person. Real quick, and then I'll shut up about being cheesy, but I feel like it also kind of helps show that things are not always going to happen exactly the way you want them to, but even when they don't, good things still happen, and almost even better things than you imagine still happen. So, alright, that's the end of my book talk. It was slightly emotional, I feel, and now I'm talking in an accent, so I should probably end it here. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. Let me know if you read this book, or if you have read it and how you feel about it, because when I first picked it up, I thought it looked interesting, and then I was like, well, maybe it's not that good, but it was only $6, and I thought I should, you know, take a crack at it, and now it is one of my very favourite books that I plan on keeping forever and ever, and recommending it forever and ever to many, many people. I'm gonna stop talking in that accent now because it started to wear off, and also I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my voice. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this little video. Bye! It's at all, but simply just sit. Stop recording. Oh, if you, anybody, any director, or Robin Schneider yourself, decide to turn this into a movie, please let me be Cassidy. I mean, I know I'm not redheaded, like not right now, but like my natural hair color, like the tint is really red, and lots of people call me redhead when I got my natural hair, so like even if it's not red enough, I can always dye it. I've got real pale skin like Cassidy, and then yeah, my eyes are brown, but all we gotta do is put some contacts in me, and you know, like I said, I really relate to this character, I relate to this whole book. Please